Before I go any further now, I've got to figure out where the studs are, where this is going to be relocated, or not relocated, but where the new timer is going to be installed. And got to figure out right here where this stud is. So the easiest way is I can take a little nail here, like an 8-penny nail, and I'm going to tap it in right on the edge here, because there's either a 2x4 right there or there's one over here. And I've got to find that out. Okay, there's something right there, and that's where I was hoping it was. I was hoping it's hollow over here, but I'm still going to try. Good, nothing there. So I know there's nothing there, and that's a good thing. See how close that plug is there? Now that plug we can still keep right there, that's fine. But you see why I want to get this over as far as possible? I can't get it way over here, because if there's a stud in our way, I'd have to cut a hole way over here, drill a hole through that, fish it over to there, and we'll see. But I just want to first see where my layout is and what I can do. Because you know what? Maybe we can go over here. I'll explain that in a minute. Before we go too much further, obviously we got an air conditioner right here. Well, usually when they frame this out, there's a double stud that will be located over here going on down, and it'll probably be a double stud. There's probably a double stud right here going down, okay? And then there's probably another stud in here somewhere. I don't know exactly which way they laid out the wall. We still got to find that out, and I'll show you how to find that. But I know I'm not going to be able to put this cut-in box too close to right here, because there's probably a double stud right there. So the best case scenario, I can get it over this far, and I'll have to line it up with this other plug height over here. So I make them the same height, because that's always nice to do. Because I want to get out of this corner as far as possible, just in case they put a TV or an armoire here in the corner. I don't want them having to walk over here like this and reach way back there to reach the timer. I mean, that's not going to be any good, is it? People will complain about that. So that's why I've got to get this over as far as possible. Does that make sense? And like I say, this is where the timer is going to be to turn it on and off. The plug can still stay over there. I don't care about that. You don't have to reach that. If you got a chair here in the corner, a table here, an end table, a lamp, whatever. So follow me with this whole thought process, because you're going to have to go through this on your project. I don't know the layout of yours. I'm telling you all the things that are going to come into play for you to realize before cutting a hole, because you don't want to cut a hole first and then say, oh, I should have cut it here instead of there. Oh shoot, I hit a stud right there. Now I got to patch that because I got to move this plug over, this cut-in box over, because I'm hitting the stud. Oh shoot, I knew I couldn't do this. I shouldn't have done this. You know, I don't want you having to do all that kind of stuff. You follow these steps and you too can be like Joe. Here's another way to check on the studs. You can kind of tap on the wall. Here it's kind of a low, hollow noise. If I go over this way, it's a higher pitched noise, and I know that's right where the stud is. But from this to this way, where that is, still sounds hollow. That tells me that they might have put screws on this stud, and they might have went over here and put screws over here. Maybe they missed the screws here, because this should be a higher pitched noise. See, that sounds hollow right there. But when I actually ran my my stud finder on there, it found something in the wall there. So I'm almost 100% sure that there's a stud right there. So I have to take that. I could start probing holes in here with a little nail or something like that, but then I've got to patch that, I've got to caulk it and paint it, and something. I want to try to make this so it doesn't even look like I was here. That's the whole object of this entire process, is when you get done with this job, I don't want anyone to know, oh yeah, he did it, see, right there, he made a mistake and he had to patch that, and he found a stud right there, and here's some paint all slopped over here. Well, you know, when I get all done, hopefully I don't have to do any painting. Hopefully I don't get any smudge marks on the wall or anything like that, you know? That's what I'm trying to show you here. Now we also know where the stud is here, right? I already probed for this on the side, and I could also take my stud finder and I could check that over here too. See, there's nothing there. Here's where it starts, and it's hard to catch this back one because they're right up close to the wall. So I'm fairly confident, 99.9%, there's nothing right there. All right? And I probed my nail in there, and I poked the nail in pretty far, so if there was a stud, it should be right next to this, okay? Now granted, maybe there was another stud in here that was right here, and they nailed this box over against that stud, but usually once you find a stud, that tells you there's another one further away. Now it's not always 16 inches apart, so don't make the assumption, because if you got a wall going the other direction on the other side of this wall or something like that, maybe there's some extra studs in there for sheetrock backing and that kind of stuff. So that's why you always have to run a stud finder and check it. That's a good way of checking it, you know, because we're making some deductions here without poking any holes in the walls. That's what we're doing right now. This is an important step to your project, so I don't want you falling asleep here. Okay, now chances are where this air conditioner is, there's a 2x4 that goes across here, and it's probably higher than where this box is. I don't think there's any blocks going across here, but if I want to check that, I can take my stud finder and I can take it flat and go up this way. See? There's nothing there. That tells me there's no blocks in there. If I had this down further for a fire block or something like that, you can test and you can check and see where a fire block is in the wall, depending where you're going with your plugs. If you're putting a cut-in light switch in, let's say, something like that. This is higher than a light switch location, and we're fairly close to each other, so you know, we're probably not going to hit anything like that. So now I've got to make some decisions, don't I? Now I'd like to talk about my project a little bit, explain to you what I'm doing, why I'm doing things, and I like to be thorough, and I think you'll find that lots of my videos do that, and I hope you appreciate that, because I'm doing this for you, not so I can hear myself talk. And plus, when I'm talking about something and you're listening like that, maybe it catches something else that you're thinking about for your project. If your project doesn't match this exact scenario, maybe you'll catch something that I'm explaining, that you understand the concept of what I'm doing here, so that on your project you understand all that. Oh yeah, Joe said blah blah blah, and you'll remember bits and pieces of different things I have to say. Okay, so even if this doesn't pertain to you exactly, listen up, because you'll learn that way as well.